Hello, everybody. Lore time. Oh, what's that? The text is blue this time. Oh, wonder whose point of view we're getting this time. It's Zeke. We're playing as Zeke today. Zeke lore time. So let's jump on in. I've been thinking a lot about this recently. What this all means. Especially the odd black substance. And what to do now that there are no more angels other than myself. What do I do? Why is this the one question I don't have an answer for? Is there even an answer to it? How did what? How did a slime chicken get in here? I'm not going to question it. I do not think it is any of my business. I suppose... Oh, yes, I also finally put out the second edition of the Haven News. So I've got that going for me. I do not think it is very advised for them to be blocking that area with all of the damages. I don't think that's a good idea. In all honesty, if I were the one in charge of cleanup, I would simply be disposing of it immediately instead of letting it fester there. I can smell the radiation from up here. It is not normally my place to say such negative things, but the captain is doing a terrible job of cleanup. But I suppose not all answers are obvious. It is simply just my duty to be honest. Is it even my job to be honest anymore? I am the one who determines an angel's course now. Am I capable of lying? Do I even want to lie? No. I do not fancy the idea of striking another creature. Unless it is in self-defense, and that creature cannot presently harm me. Hello there.
Hi, Ezekiel.
How are you doing?
I'm looking for... Have you seen my horse, Goldilocks?
About that. I do unfortunately believe they are no longer with us.
What?
I saw something about them falling out of the world. My condolences.
Do I have, fences? Yes. That's... I'm not letting that happen to Kenneth.
That is a smart idea.
I didn't realize...
It is...
He's safe in here.
It is not your fault. It is not really anyone's fault in particular.
It's probably my fault. I could have built a fence sooner.
You did not expect it to happen. Therefore, blaming yourself would be the incorrect thing to do. Other than that, how have you been?
Tired.
I suppose that is also an expected answer.
You can't even see the destruction from here.
I did see the destruction. I was at home.
You can't see it from here.
What destruction? Are you talking about the destruction in Elysium?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
And... yeah. In and around Elysium.
I did take note. I also witnessed it through Dakota's and Abaddon's eyes. It is...
I didn't know Abaddon was there.
He was not at the war. He was out and about recently. Spending time with, I believe it was Lux, August, Citadel, and Angel.
That sounds nice.
I suppose it was pleasant for Abaddon. My condolences to anyone who was around him.
Yeah.
I took the liberty of delivering you some mail, as well as leaving a present from a while back. I don't know if you've noticed them, but they've been sitting in your town hall for a while.
I think this looks familiar. I think I did, and just... I'm sorry, there's...
I understand. A lot has happened recently. I have... Oh,
I'm sorry, go on.
I was going to say that I heard about what happened. I believe that's why I left the gift. I do not recall. Why did I leave it? Oh. I left it because Dakota is a fool. That is why. Regardless. You were saying something.
Did I tell you that you were in my dream?
I do not recall if you did, but I do recall you telling that to Dakota.
All three of you were in my dream, actually.
I see.
And you told me that it wasn't too late to make things right.
I wonder what I meant by that.
But I don't know how.
Well, let us take a step back. Since I have no recollection of this event, what has been happening to warrant you thinking that?
Do you know about anathema and...
And?
And me?
Well, I know what I know about you two presently.
In the dream you said that it wasn't too late to make things right with him.
Perhaps that was foreshadowing for what is happening recently.
What's happening recently?
Well, given your whole divide, how only one of you can be upfront at a time, and how Anathema does not like you very much.
He's allowed to not like me. I haven't given him many reasons to like me.
Perhaps due to your unique situation, what I meant by it's not too late to make things right is perhaps there is still a way for you two to mend whatever ill will is there. I am uncertain how, for I do not know enough about either of you. But I have faith that you are able to find out what it means.
I'm tired of faith.
I didn't mean it in that sense, if it's any consolation. I meant it more in a I believe in you sense.
That's what I meant.
You're tired of people believing in you?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Why, if I may ask?
Because this is what happens when I disappoint them.
Profanity. Who left these?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It could have been anyone.
I think it does matter. Perhaps whoever left these... No, that's a foolish way to think of it.
What way?
It is simply that I do not think they understand the gravity of your situation.
I don't think anyone does.
I can think of a couple of people that understand it better than you know.
Who?
Well, namely, myself and Dakota, simply because we are able to relate to a certain extent. We cannot exactly completely relate on the sense of you and Anathema share a body and a soul, and only one of you can be out and about at once. But we are tied to the same soul. Without one, the other two can't exist. Sylphan hunger is another good example.
I think Hunger understands. I'm not sure Sylph does. I think Sylph is still processing everything.
I have not had the pleasure of meeting Sylph yet, but yeah, Hunger probably does know.
I'm glad that Sylph is back.
Oh, they've returned to us.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, just recently.
I would say I would have to inform Dakota and Abaddon, but I do believe they know now. Unless Dakota's still ignoring me. The point is, I don't think they understand that without one, the other cannot exist. They lose you, they lose Anathema. Anathema loses you, he loses himself, etc., etc. It's a very complicated situation.
If I could set him free.
Is there anything stopping you from doing that?
The only way I could do that is by going back into the darkness.
Perhaps there's a way you can do it without going into the darkness. Perhaps the darkness is a manifestation of your own fear.
No, I think it's the darkness of not receiving any sensory input for a long time. I'm pretty sure the darkness is real.
I don't know enough about that whole situation, I suppose.
It wasn't good.
I could only imagine.
I don't want to go back.
I don't think anyone would want to subject you to that again, except maybe whoever left those signs. Allow me to clean this up for you. These are not good for your health. It is important to understand exactly what is happening in that whole situation, I suppose. I understand that one needs to front and the other is subjected to some form of darkness.
It's different between us.
I would imagine it is different between you two. You said Anathema can hear us right now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why it is that you could not.
I mean, we're not. This isn't and equal. We're not the same thing. We're mismatched halves, kind of.
Yes, I understand that much. But if only there was a way to alter whatever happens to you on the inside. Surely not everything in the darkness was terrible. I mean, as far as I understand, us three were very helpful towards you.
Koda gave me a sword.
A sword? Surely it wasn't terror. He never parts with that.
It was named Hatred Edge.
Oh dear. Well, that's not good. If you saw it in that dream, it must be somewhere here. I fear bad things would happen if it is.
Is that how it works? Because I think maybe I knew it from before Haven. In the memories that are missing, I think maybe we met.
It's probably hopeful thinking that it's not here. I sure hope it's not.
What is it?
It is the sword used by a Nephilim that was known as Cyprus, who wished genocide upon Angel's demons and their ilk. It is a terrible weapon.
I didn't like holding it.
It was born of malice, so that makes sense. Oh, the souls have a message for anathema. They are apologetic. I believe the apology also extends to you.
I think there's been a lot of apology and very little action.
Yes. A relatable situation.
People expected me to be happy that they'd hurt him in my name.
But you, as far as I could tell, you did not wish that upon him.
I told them. I told them I didn't want him to be hurt.
So it is a matter of them simply not listening to you.
Maybe.
I do believe that is just downright cruel.
I thought they were my friends. I thought they wanted me to be happy.
But they
it
did
seems
not.
like
They did
it
not
seems
consider
like
what you wanted.
yeah. It seems like they care more about the idea of me than me.
My condolences if any of the three of us have done that.
You didn't know me before. You've only known me since since I got back.
That is fair. Perhaps I am simply too willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. It is in my nature as an angel of kindness, I suppose.
What good is kindness if you can't actually help?
That is a question that I am presently seeking the answer to. Despite my wealth of knowledge, there have recently cropped up a plethora of questions that I have no answer to. Sure, one could simply chalk kindness up to intention, But everyone interprets things differently.
I think intention can only go so far.
Yes.
Um, did
Did what?
you met Anathema, right?
I met Anathema through Dakota, yes.
What was he like?
A tricky question to answer. I suppose in the very brief moments they got to interact, Anathema was a rather playful individual. He would be teasing Dakota, but he would also be kind in certain situations. But that begs the question, why is he mad at Anathema?
I don't know.
I also don't know. He has not spoken to me since we discovered some recent ruins.
I I understand that.
But he has spoken to you a lot recently.
Just some.
He does like and appreciate you. In all honesty, I think he's very appreciative that you helped the kingdom during the war.
I had to do that.
But you are not affiliated with the kingdom.
No.
So why do you feel you had to do that? Did you do it out of the kindness in your heart?
I don't feel like there's kindness in my heart.
Everyone has some form of kindness in their heart. Even the most sick and vile creatures like Crozul.
He could have saved Anathema again. But he chose to attack instead, and I don't know why. It was risky of him to do, even if he thought he'd win. There were so many of us and only one of him. And it would have been so much less risky to just dig under my house.
I feel there were more underlying issues in that moment, considering he swore revenge against several people. Angel, Aster, Deepest Sleep, Jackdaw. But surely he knew it was a fool's errand, not swearing revenge on everyone in the kingdom. Did he mean to lose? Or did he simply not care, because his friend is gone?
But he doesn't have to be gone.
Being gone was the wrong term to use, and I apologize for that. He is not truly gone, he's still here, he's just locked away. I apologize if I'm not being very helpful.
No, it's okay. You you haven't done anything wrong.
Tell that to Dakota.
I don't know what happened with Dakota. It just meant today while we've been talking.
That is fair. It is simply... Apparently, there was something locked away in my brain that we recently found out, and that was that... To summarize, Nephilim were only allowed to exist to be used as tools of war. And I apparently knew that, and he did not like that I didn't share that information.
I know what it's like to have things locked in your brain. I learned things when I was in the darkness. Like, about the sword. Or that it existed, I guess.
That is true. I really hope it is not here. But if you know about it, that means it's... complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is complicated, but... I don't know. In the dream, it seemed like Anathema and I had been friends, and that got taken from us by the Void or by Haven or something.
It seems like this Void, or Haven itself, has taken something from everyone. Your bond with Anathema, our memories, our worlds. I wonder what's up with that. Questions upon questions upon questions.
What?
Nothing, just thinking. Whatever the case may be with your situation with Anathema, if you would like assistance, or if I find any form of answers, I am certainly around to discuss.
I'd like that.
I am always happy to help in any way I can. And
I'm sorry, go on.
There's certainly some form of answer out there. You were once friends. You share a body and a soul. So maybe there's a way for you two to find a way to coexist peacefully.
I hope there are answers out there for you too.
I am certainly looking for them. I require his forgiveness.
Require how?
Because we share a soul, if he were to suddenly if we were to find some way to break our bond, I am uncertain what would happen with me. If our world no longer exists, where would I go? When we broke bonds in our world, we would simply return to our domain. But heaven does not exist here. Same deal with Abaddon. If something were to happen to him, where would he go? Hell isn't here. It is important
Don't know.
It is important that our bond remains intact for all three of us. We depend on each other.
Is it breakable?
Pardon?
Is the bond breakable here?
That is a good question. I don't know. I would also ideally not like to find the answer in case the answer is bad news.
I understand.
It's a lot. Do you remember anything about what it was like with Anathema?
In what way?
How you two would normally interact before Haven?
I don't remember ever. I don't remember ever letting him out before Haven.
Strange.
I must have, because people talked in my dream like we traded places regularly, but I don't remember.
It is alright that you don't remember.
I want to remember.
I think a lot of us want to remember things. Is there any way for you two to communicate while he's locked away?
Maybe through one of Gawain's rituals, but that went badly the last time that I tried it. He killed Gawain, and it was...
I see. Well, I imagine it wouldn't have been very pleasant for him to have been forcibly locked away by whatever brought you two here.
It wasn't... Whatever brought us here didn't lock him away. I locked him away.
Do you know why?
What do you mean?
Do you know why you locked him away? Was it an intentional thing? Was it by accident?
It's inherent to the kind of thing I am. He needs... sorry, what were you saying?
Was it perhaps a defense mechanism?
I didn't know how it worked for a bit. I just knew that he had been in control of this body, and then the thing that I used to be attacked him and crawled inside, and then I was in charge of the body. And I didn't know until later that there was a way to maybe let him out.
Attacked?
I was much more like, say, a silverfish than a player.
Fascinating. Maybe I could look into phenomena like that in the Void Library and find some answers.
Maybe.
I'm not too terribly worried about adverse effects of being down there for long, for I am very ancient and very knowledgeable.
I I I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It is alright. If it is important, it will come back to you. If you remember it down the line, you are free to write me.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything else to ask that you might have answers to. What you were attacked anathema and you took control. Possibly being a defense mechanism. Do you remember if you and anathema were close while you were separate, if that's what it was?
I how do you mean?
Like, close as beings. You said you were akin to a silverfish, so I guess in a sense were you tame?
No. He was near the place where I spawned.
Did other people in your dream talk about you two like you were friends?
Yeah, multiple people in my dream.
It's okay. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. That is what makes me inclined to think that maybe it was some form of defense mechanism. If you two had some kind of bond before what happened, then maybe it wasn't
Before I took him over, I was a mob. I did not have thoughts. I did not know things. We could not have been friends before.
And yet everyone in your dream talked about you two like you were.
It must have happened after.
I suppose one question answered, a million more formed. That's alright, I like riddles.
I don't.
You don't like riddles?
No.
Is there a particular reason? This is just a sheerly curiosity question, not relevant to anything we were discussing before.
I'm not very good with words.
That is...
I can talk, I can say things, I can communicate, but I'm no good at playing with them. I'm no good at...
I think I get it. I suppose that is fair. I simply do a lot of puzzles and riddles and brain games in my free time. If I could find a way to put them into the Haven newspaper, I would.
I believe in you.
I'm sure I'll figure it out. Not a lot of space on the page on these things.
There's gotta be a way.
I suppose if I have any more questions, I will seek you out and ask, but do you have any questions?
Do you think it's too late?
I do not think it is too late. The only way it could feasibly be too late is if you were already dead. Or if he was already dead. It will never be too late until you run out of time.
I, um, I want to make things right, but I don't know how to. And I'm too, I guess I do know how to, but I'm too scared to try, and I think that makes me a bad person, maybe.
I think judging things based off of morality is too narrow-minded. I have recently learned that myself. There is no true good or true bad. Well, I suppose there is true bad, but it's complicated in that sense. I do not think you're a bad person for being afraid. I think it is a natural response to whatever you think the answer might be. Having a fear of the unknown is completely rational.
I think at this point it's a fear of the known. Like I said, the darkness.
And that is also completely rational. It's... what it is it is complicated. It will always be complicated.
I feel like every moment I'm alive, I'm turning away from someone's suffering.
I relate to that more than you know. Or I suppose you do know, now that I have explained my current situation.
Yeah.
It also becomes a lot more trickier when you have no direct line of communication. I could simply walk up to Dakota and be like, "Here is the deal. I am sorry for what happened. I did not know." You, on the other hand, do not have a direct line of communication with Anathema. He can hear you, but he cannot respond. As far as I know.
He's never been able to respond. Not so far as either of us can tell.
And therein lies the issue. If we can't find a way for you two to directly communicate, things may truly never be resolved. But time is on your side. I do not know how old you are, but Anathema seemed relatively young. Young in an adult standard, I suppose.
I've only had 2 birthdays, but I guess I existed for a time before Sylvan Angel gave me one.
You have time on your side. You, along with my assistants and anyone else you feel might be able to help, can find a way for you to communicate with him and have him reply.
Yeah, I, I want that.
Perhaps if we can find a way to get you two to communicate in the similar way that happened before without somebody dying, that could be our way. But with Anathema being locked away, it becomes immensely more difficult. But I have... how do I phrase this without using the word faith or believe? We will figure it out. I know we will. We have time.
Yeah, yeah, we'll figure it out.
It's not like I'm going anywhere. I'm ancient, immortal. The only thing keeping me limited here is Dakota, but
What
he's...
happens if
What happens what?
what happens if Coda dies of I don't know, old age?
If he were... well, back home, if he were to have died of old age, Abaddon and I would have returned to our original realms. Which now returns back to what would happen if our bond broke.
Maybe maybe the anchors protect against that. I don't know.
I suppose there's no way to know, considering I don't think any of us are nearing the age of dying of natural causes.
I've still never seen my anchor. Our anchor.
I think the only person who would have seen it is whoever took it from the vault, which if we're to understand who that was, it was Navin, but something... I don't want to say something
No,
feels wrong
Navin.
about that. Hmm?
Navin. No, it. Anathema took it, and Kay took his, and maybe Kay knows where it is.
That would be a question for him. He is presently locked up near Elysium. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to ask. The worst he'll do is make fun of you.
I'm not afraid of that.
A reasonable response. I personally have no interest in him. He is not worth anyone's time.
He might have information that I need.
Well, if you would like, I'd be more than happy to escort you there. I need to go back anyways and start filing some notes. I'm sorry, by the way.
About.
I know I wasn't there. We haven't been around too long, I suppose. A year, max. Maybe two. But I've noticed the scars on your back.
They were gone when I got back.
My condolences. I imagined they didn't work too well, but I am sure they looked pleasing aesthetically.
They were all I had that was it was they were mine. They were from my original body.
I am sorry.
It's okay.
I once again think the captain is not doing a very great job of cleanup.
To be fair, there's a lot of damage.
There is, but I do not think grouping it up in one spot, especially a high-traffic area, is a good idea.
Have you seen...
Have I seen downwells?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. How did it get destroyed?
I did it.
Oh. I suppose I have some editing to do to the second edition of the Haven News, then. I know the initial destruction was Crozul, gunking it up. But I'm sure if Dakota were to see it now, he would be thrilled.
You can still see some of the TNT.
Mm-hmm. A decisive blow. It definitely helped turn the tides of the war.
It was just... It was just a lot.
I could imagine. Let's get you to the containment cell.
Yeah.
I did not get a very close look at all of the destruction. Oh.
There's...
Dear.
It's gotten worse.
It has gotten much worse. But I suppose that is what war is all about.
I need to go around through... I can't go over that way.
That is all right. Is it because of the blood? Oh, yes, the lanterns. My mistake.
It's okay. Everyone forgets.
It is unlike me to forget.
Everyone does.
I suppose that is fair. I will be seeing you around. Good luck with Crozul. Watch out for the creeper!
Thanks.
It is alright. The least I can do. I am still getting used to the fact that I can commit violence without losing my grace. Anyways, good luck.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Anytime. Delightful getting to see Moth again. I really hope I can find the answers for them. Or at least help somebody else find the answers. For now, I have my own answers to find. It is not too late for Anathema and Moth. So that would naturally mean that it is not too late for Dakota and I. Right? The question is, how do I make it up to him? How do I get him back? And what happens if I am unable to succeed? I need to think optimistically. Of course I will succeed. He was able to triumph. Naturally, I would be able to as well. Yippee, that was lore! Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have more lore incoming tonight. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw and you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, share, favorite, subscribe, all that jazz. Follow me on Twitch if you weren't already. I also have a Twitter and a Tumblr. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and all manner of species between, peace out. See you tonight.